Hello and welcome to another Thursday on We Could Do It Better. I am Jonah Maple. I'm here with my co-host,
Your Cape
Grant-
Crusader.
Grant Koven. Happy Halloween! This is our Halloween episode.
Sorry, I have to get my
Episode
cape
number
out of
10.
the way. It's been a. All right, how we? Is this good? Is this good?
Yeah.
Can people hear me? I hope those sound waves aren't showing up as loudly. So
Yeah.
I hope they can hear me. All right. Yeah,
put
yeah,
it
there you go.
Sideways.
Sideways.
Um.
All right. Well, welcome back. We're doing things. We actually made room for a main event. I don't know if anyone's catching up on our YouTube channel, but we keep cutting out our main event, and it's also really hard for me to speak with fangs in. So I apologize if that I've got a little bit of a wisp. But no, I'm excited. I'm really excited. We're going to do our usual. We'll jump into Multiverse of Movies. Don't change the channel. We're just going to very briefly touch on Game Over. You'll do a little segment on Comic Corner, and then we're going to do something different. It's pretty different. I don't think we've really done this before. This is something that I think, this is the type of stuff that I was thinking we'd do more of when we started the show. But with breaking news in the the realm of comic books, movies, TV shows, we just simply haven't had the time. So we're kind of scaling back on a lot of the news stuff, and we're going to be moving it more into some theoretical play. So let's start with. I've got that list. It's really bad. I'm going to review Venom: The Last Dance, spoiler free, of course.
Yes, because I have not seen it yet. I'm going to see it this weekend when I go home. So yeah, you'll go ahead and give a spoiler-free review, everybody.
Yeah. So, I've said this so many times. The whole Venom trilogy is not great. The only reason I'm here for it, and the only reason why it's doing as well as it possibly could be, is solely because of Eddie Brock and the chemistry with him and the symbiote.
Yes. Tom Hardy is amazing. From the first two movies I've seen, he's done. I mean, he's a great actor, but he's very fun and very super watchable.
He is, and I knew that they were gonna all wrap up Venom and Eddie Brock's trilogy into a nice little bow, and give it a definitive ending. I expected maybe to cry once. I cried twice.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. I don't know if it's because just, I'm a sucker for goodbyes, but I did cry twice, which was really surprising. Overall, it does plenty of fan service. If you can hear the lisp, this is so, I might even have to take out the things.
It's okay. I can't tell.
Okay. It gives fan service to those who are familiar with the symbiotes. If you know nothing about the symbiotes, they look like different colors of Venom, and it's still fun. There was less emphasis on the other symbiotes than I was thinking there would be, and it does somewhat set up a future for the symbiote stuff potentially in 616. Just the whole Sony Marvel stuff is giving me a headache. I don't really know who's going where or really what's going on. I mean, you had Vulture teaming up with Morbius and the end credits of Morbius, and it's just I have no idea where we're going with this trilogy. As you know, Null, which is the King in Black, essentially, is essentially the ruler of the symbiotes, and this isn't so much a spoiler, but I thought there was going to be more of him.
Yeah, I heard that there wasn't going to be that much. Okay.
This was, mind you, this was the big boss. This was the person that, was teased throughout the entire trailer. And I think we saw just about the same amount of Null in the trailer than we did in the movie.
Oh, okay. That's extremely disappointing.
Yeah.
But
he's threatening because he has an army of these weird symbiote-like creatures. They're not exactly symbiotes, but they're his minions, which are essentially the size of
Wait, but isn't he the god of symbiotes?
Yeah, but the symbiotes...
But the
symbiotes are revolting against him. The symbiotes banished him into this realm that he's currently trapped in.
So
The symbiotes are the good guys, which makes things already really confusing, and this furthermore proves that Sony does not know what they're doing.
Well, okay, Venom lore is weird, and it basically only exists as retcons.
Yeah.
And like the null stuff, from what I know about it, is very complicated. I haven't read all of it, but I wasn't expecting it to make a lot of sense. I'll see it because
you kind of have
not?
to.
I kind of have to.
You can do your little debrief next Thursday.
Yeah, and we can give a spoiler review once more people have seen it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be more to talk about. It was like, hey, where do they go from here? In other movie news, since it's October, it's spooky season. It's Halloween today. The Netflix Fear Street movies, which
have you seen Fear Street?
I have seen those.
Are they good?
They're pretty good. I like them. They're fun.
I'm kind of thinking about what I should watch tonight. Trick or Treat, the like Trick or Treat, like the letter
I don't know
R.
that.
It's like a horror movie that apparently is like it's like very Halloween themed.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, but I heard it's a cult classic, and I should probably watch that.
Fear Street isn't like super. It's not super scary. It's kind of like.
Is it more slashery?
Kinda, yeah. There's some of that, but it's. I do think it is a good movie. It's a good drama. It is a horror movie.
Now I know there's 3 parts. Have you seen all 3?
Yeah, there's 2 parts. I've seen all 3.
Okay.
I saw them like 3 years ago.
Okay.
That was like the first like my introduction back into horror movies when I couldn't see them. But it's based on some R.L. Stine books. And it was a trilogy. And Netflix is gonna make they said they're making more of them. There's gonna be there's gonna be another movie next year. It's gonna be a whole new cast. And it's going to release in 2025.
Wasn't part 3 in like the 1700s or something like that?
Kinda, yeah. It was like in like the 17th. It was in like 1666.
Because they keep going further back into the past, right?
There's some time stuff I don't want to say.
Okay.
Especially if you're thinking of watching the movie.
No, it's on my radar.
It's very good. It's very spooky.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we're right on. We're doing great. We set time restraints so we know exactly how to space this out, and we are right on time. So moving on to Don't Change the Channel.
Yeah.
Penguin episode 6 came out on Sunday.
Yeah.
And whoa.
Yeah, this was another really good one. There's
Vic does some shocking things.
Yeah. There's like some characters make. We get to see more of Vic's character and more of his character development, if you want to call it that. That's very interesting.
And again, it leaves us with a great cliffhanger again.
Yeah, a great cliffhanger at the end of each episode. This show is
intoxicating. This show is intoxicating.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm so glad that we're back to like weekly release stuff for TV shows.
Yeah.
Like for so many of like my favorite TV shows, like
they lump it all together, don't they?
Well, I was about to say like okay, like my favorite experiences watching TV shows like as they come out, like early days Flash, Supergirl, or like Young Justice, like watching
CW releases.
Yeah, yeah. Or like Young Justice or like anything like as they release it every week, seeing it. It's very fun. I much prefer that, and they're taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
They make you want to watch each episode as it comes out. Like the moment it hits 9, where usually we're pressing play.
I know we were talking about last week how we were going to be really interested about how Salvatore Maroni and Sofia Gigante and how they would work together.
Yeah.
And I love the way that it was explored in this episode alone.
Their interaction is very interesting. It's not what I would expect it, but it seems very like these characters.
And they both have ulterior motives. You can tell.
Yeah.
Like
everyone's got a plan. You know, it's that. I mean, once again, like Matt Reeves isn't the showrunner, but it gives Matt Reeves villain vibes where like everyone like has a plan, but they also might get screwed over.
It's kind of given the feeling that like Saul and Sophia are playing chess while Cobb is playing checkers. You know? Like Oz has some devious stuff up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Like he's, especially with the cliffhanger at the last episode. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, and we kind of get to see more of his underworld. We get to see him as a boss.
Oh yeah.
Which is interesting. We get to see him kind of being a little bit of like a father mentor figure towards Vic, but in like a very
tough love.
Yeah, well, sometimes, but like in a very like messed up way. Cause like, oh, this isn't a good person.
Right.
And I do think one thing, I was kind of worried that we were never gonna get this. We were like, the Penguin thing from the animated series in the '90s, where it's like, oh, this person wants to be part of high society. He wants to be like accepted.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting this show's version of that finally, and I really like it.
Yeah. So,
okay, moving on.
Yeah, you take it away with Agatha.
Agatha All Along episodes 8 and 9, the final 2 episodes dropped last night. Once again, this will be another spoiler-free thing because it hasn't been out for 24 hours. And it was very good, a very good ending to the show.
I mean, we watched it together last night.
Yeah.
And there were times where I nearly like jumped out of my seat in excitement. But then after we were done, I was screaming, raging around the apartment.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop pacing back and forth because I was coming up with theories and whatnot.
Yeah.
And this led to a really long conversation
about
the future of the MCU, essentially.
The future of the MCU, the future of these characters, like Billy and like the Young Avengers characters, which are like some of my favorite that they've done. I will say episode 8 was particularly strong this time.
I would agree. What I loved about episode 8 is like it really did like it was essentially the finale.
It was the finale, and then episode 9 was kind of like an epilogue almost.
Yeah, that's exact. I think that's
kind of
right.
or like in like Marvel event terms, it's like an Omega issue.
Yeah. Although we did, I can't say anything because it's.
Yeah.
Maybe if we've got time next week, we can kind of take a more deeper dive into the spoiler side because I do want to talk about some of the stuff that actually happened in that episode with you. Yeah,
there's some stuff that we've wanted to see for a long time that we finally get to see just as a people.
But yeah,
it's and there's some great revelations that I didn't like. I should have seen coming. I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
That are really great. We get to see the end of an arc for at least 1.5, like at least for one character.
Yeah.
But it is a really good show. We will talk about it more next week. Because I assume that there are some people who are watching it all, who are going to wait for it to all finish.
Yeah.
And watch it all at once. And then once there's a week after that, we can kind of talk about the whole show.
But before we started watching Agatha, I had already seen all these teasers and stuff. But you were watching the teasers for all of the new Marvel stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And we got a whole bunch of tiny little teasers.
Yeah, we got teasers for Daredevil Born Again, Ironheart, Wonder Man, Eyes of Wakanda, Marvel Zombies, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and Season 3 of What If.
Yeah.
And these are all going to be projects that are coming in the year 2025. There's also like Deadpool and Wolverine like promotional stuff since it's coming to Disney Plus,
which I thought it already dropped for some reason. I guess I was like just straight up wrong.
No, I think they want people to buy the Blu-ray first.
Yeah.
Devil Born Again we've been looking for. Like we saw I forget the name of. There's like one character in that they.
Which one?
For Daredevil Born Again, we can get
Muse.
Yeah, Muse. That's
yes.
it. I haven't.
Well, so in case nobody really knows, Muse essentially is this really twisted serial killer that turns his victims into works of art.
Okay.
So you can tell that Disney Plus is definitely going to be taking this mature rating seriously because you've got, I imagine that the way that this is going to be done is extremely graphic.
Yeah.
Because there's also... I know you haven't played Arkham Knight, but there's a guy who did a very similar thing like that in Arkham Knight. I'm completely blanking on his name.
Like Victor Zsasz?
No, it was someone else. It might have been Victor Zsasz, but I don't think it was.
Well, no, Victor Zsasz's thing is that he puts a notch on himself every time he kills someone. So probably not that.
Okay. Well, anyways, I'm gonna tell the release dates real quick.
Yes.
So Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is kind of like it's like cartoon, but
the art
it's almost
style.
It's like a 3D but 2D cartoon at the same time.
It feels more like 70s comic booky style.
Yeah.
Which I like.
With a 3D-ish spin to it.
Yeah.
Which is this canon to Peter Parker?
I don't think so.
I don't think it is either.
I can look into that. I can't imagine that it will be canon.
Okay. So, anyways, it just kind of gives the more training grounds for Peter Parker, and it's more of a learning how to be Spider-Man. We're still having a stacked cast while the voice actor isn't Tom Holland. I forget the name of the guy, but I think he might have voiced Peter Parker in the past. Hudson Thames. That's who voices Spider-Man. We're getting the series on January 29th. So that's the next Marvel project we've got. But Charlie Cox is meant to reprise his role as Daredevil in the show.
I'm seeing that.
And like Norman Osborn, which is crazy. We haven't seen Osborn yet at all since, the MCU really started up. So that's going to be really exciting. And then on March 4th, we're getting Daredevil Born Again, which I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. Which we already talked about. We got a look at Muse. We got a look at Punisher, Daredevil. It looks like Kingpin is running for mayor based off of what we saw.
Yeah, which should be fun.
I'm excited because, that happens in comics where he runs for mayor. And, just if you thought his influence in the underground part of Hell's Kitchen was a lot, just wait until what he can do when he's trying to run for mayor. So this is going to just make for a super interesting, TV show.
Yeah, and then Ironheart's coming. That'll be in, I believe, December 2025 with, the Riri Williams character. The promotional stuff looks great. I'm excited.
Ironheart is June 24th.
Oh, it's June?
Yeah, June 24th.
Oh, I thought it was December. Never mind.
No.
My bad.
No, you're good. Eyes of Wakanda is August 6th.
Eyes of Wakanda, August 6th. Oh, it's Wonder Man that's coming in December. With,
yes.
Yahya Abdul
Mateen II.
Yahya Abdul Mateen II. I really like that actor. He was.
I was jumping up and down in my seat when I saw Wonder Man.
Yeah. I thought until yesterday I thought that show was dead, so I'm very excited to see that that's happening. I think I haven't read much Wonder Woman, but from
Armor Wars was in danger. Armor Wars is still in danger as of right now.
But I mean I like the actor. I think he was great. I think he's a fairly good what was it Black Manta. He was really good.
He was
really good Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen TV show. And I'm excited for just, more different Marvel stuff. Well, it seems like we'll get it.
Since it's Halloween, I have to bring up Marvel Zombies, which
Marvel
is
Zombies
it's appropriately going to come out on Disney Plus in October, which is super exciting. But I do want to talk about, because like or Marvel Zombies has the same animation style as like What If.
Yeah.
But Eyes of Wakanda doesn't. It has like this it looks more artsy.
Yeah.
Like it almost looks like a Disney Pixar. Well, I mean, I know Disney does, make it, but like it gives more of like the Disney animation style to it.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, we've got a great lineup for Marvel TV. It doesn't seem like it's going to be too much, because there was a time where they were pumping out a lot of stuff, but I think when you have a mix of live action and animated stuff, you're able to make, because they were going after live action after live action after live action. I mean, the only thing we got was What If, essentially, but now they're kind of dividing off and doing a lot of stuff in different types of departments, so I think that this is all going to be like very well spread out.
Like a lot of like the What If and Zombies and Spider-Man that's not canon or dubious canon, or like Wonder Man, Ironheart, probably. I mean, I'm excited for those, but they probably won't end up mattering that much since Young Avengers is probably scrapped.
And I'm just reading off of The Verge right now. We did not see anything about X-Men 97 in the second season, or the new Vision Quest show, which I know Vision Quest just went into production, so that's probably why we haven't seen anything yet. But we will probably see X-Men 97 Season 2, along with the Vision Quest in 2026.
Yeah, which I'm excited for.
You're not supposed to see that.
Oh, I didn't see it. All right, we've also got Arcane Season 2 is coming November 9th. That is a week from Saturday. I think so. Which Arcane League of Legends, phenomenal first season. Everyone should watch it. I'm going to try to force you to watch it at some point in time. Season 2, they've said that it's going to be the final season.
Okay.
So it's just going to be the end of that that plot.
Yeah.
Which it's I'm glad that we get an ending to a show and it's not just one of those Netflix shows that
Just keeps going on.
No, that just there's never an end. Like there's like a cliffhanger and we never get like a resolution.
Oh,
because there are a million of those and that's like really frustrating. Like there's no good reason why there's in the season 2 of I'm Not Okay With This, and like season 1 ended up kind of not exactly a cliffhanger, but like there's more story.
Yeah.
Right. Like clearly the first part of a story, and I'm excited that we finally get that second part. It feels unreal that it's coming this soon because it's kind of just been like this thing that like we haven't been getting, or like we've only been getting kind of occasional news about.
Yeah.
There is new casting for Lanterns.
I didn't even hear about this.
Yeah.
Until you put it on the doc.
Kelly MacDonald is playing a character named Sheriff Kelly. This is an original
Someone named
character.
Kelly is playing Kelly.
Yeah. This is an original character to the show.
Oh, thank God. I was worried that I was completely illiterate when it came to DC stuff. I'm like, who's Sheriff Kelly and why are they so important?
They're not. Like, this is a new character, which
okay.
I think is
I feel
weird.
better about this now.
I don't. I think that's kind of weird because there are like similar characters. Like, probably like knowing this kind of show, it's probably like set up to be like a love interest or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird to introduce an original character because there are like
Sure.
there are dozens of Green Lantern characters that you could introduce.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird to have the third listed one be like to have the third actor cast to be an original character is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one of those things where about Lanterns I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm super excited. Tom King and Damon Lindelof and that other I don't know the other writer, but like those two writers are great. I love their stuff, or most of their stuff. And it's like, but also I don't know. Tom King on Green Lantern kind of scares me because like his ongoing series can kind of be dubious, kind of be hit or miss. He's a great character, but he's a great writer, but sometimes his interpretations of characters are not the most popular.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool. It's like an investigation. Oh, it's in Kansas. That's kind of weird. There's been a lot of stuff like that. I mean, I'm going to watch it. I'm hopeful. I'm sure that at the very least it will be good television.
Yeah.
Because the people behind it are good. Or
they know what they're doing.
Like they know what they're doing. Good writers, good. It seems like good executive producers so far. Yeah. From the description, kind of seems just like a typical Tom King person, which is like the equivalent of but that's fine. It's a good character. Like I'm excited to watch the show, but I'm also scared.
Yeah. I think unless you have anything else to say, we can just keep on going.
Yeah.
We'll have more time for our main event if you want to.
We're going to move on to Game Over, and you're take it away with Fortnite.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing. Is like I've been drowning in homework right now. So like I was locked in Audio Suite for 3 hours today working on some audio stuff. So like I have not had time for Fortnite really much of lately. So I don't have much. The current Marvel season is coming to an end, like kind of tomorrow. We're getting a live event called the Prelude, which starts at 6:30 Eastern time tomorrow, and I'm not even sure exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There's a countdown, but the new Fortnite season, which is Chapter 2 remixed, essentially is going to take us back to when you might have been playing around this time. Do you remember the spy theme where there was like the black and white agencies?
No, I was not playing around this time.
Well, so there was Ghost and Shadow. They were the two rival agencies, and they were always butting heads. And they're coming back, and they're remixing a whole bunch of other popular skins that used to be available in the Battle Pass. Again, I haven't played in a while. I've kind of had, more pressing matters to attend to. But I'll definitely give you guys an update if I get around to, the new season next Thursday. It's just it's right now. I kind of just fell off of Fortnite for now.
Yeah.
For now. Maybe when the workload eases up, I'll get back into it. But yeah, the remix chapter 2 starts at 7 a.m. on Saturday, but the prelude event starts at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and take it away with
All
Comic
right.
Corner.
I didn't have that many comics coming this week. I had these 4 right here. There's the weekly Action Comic series, which I've been liking more as it goes on. It's kind of reminded me why Mark Waid is a good writer.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Waid, a writer of absolute power, the biggest writer on The Flash, also Koven, Kingdom Come. And it's like, oh, this is a classic Superman story, and it's exploring a lot of stuff that's kind of really cool. There was one moment in this, I forget it. But yeah, this is really good. If you want, it's fun to have a weekly comic series just to pick up every week. It can be a lot, I get that. And the Supergirl backup seems okay. I like the writer Mariko Tamaki, but it's kind of not that much is happening every week because it's a backup. But this is really cool. We get to see a lot of like the Phantom Zone. We get to explore more of Mon-El, which is a character I really like. And we get to remember why we love Superman. Why Mark Waid is good at this character. And also this is kind of like the end of the first arc, kind of. And then Mark Waid's going to keep on writing, and then they're going to continue with the story. Some stuff happens, and it's very exciting. I would recommend, like, if you really like Superman, in my opinion, it's not as good as the main Superman title right now by Joshua Williamson, but it's pretty good if you want to read it. NYX came out this week, too. This is a series I was pleasantly surprised by out of all of the from the Ashes stuff. Has a lot of characters. It's by Colin Kelly and Jacqueline Lansing. And they're doing a really good job living in their status quo. Because X-Men, it's a story, like about sociology. It's about like a community. And NYX is specifically about the post-Koven era, like when they lived on an air commune for a few years. And then, they had to they don't have a home anymore. It's kind of exploring that. It's exploring a lot of the big X-Men themes, and they're doing a really good job at that. There are a couple moments in this issue that's like, oh, these people understand X-Men. These are really good writers.
Yeah.
And I do think it is representative of the whole line. None of the X-Men lines post-Krakoa seem just like, I've had an X-Men pitch in my back pocket for 8 years. All of them are specifically like, what do we do after this massive event happened? Like, how does this affect these characters? And it's really good. I mean, if you like Miss Marvel, if you like Laura Kinney, the second Wolverine, you're probably gonna like the show. You're probably gonna like this. You might not have all of the context though. I did pick up 3 horror books this week. One of them, Nice House on the Lake, a first book to have the Vertigo imprint back on this. This is probably
big. This is big.
This is probably my book of the week. It's been great. It's been I knew that this is going to be good, but I keep on getting pleasantly surprised by this story. James Tynion, fourth.
I haven't asked yet. Is this more like psychological horror or like gore horror?
It's 100% psychological horror. It's about a dystopia. I can't even say what it's about.
That's fine.
And there's a mystery to it, and I keep on getting surprised by the mystery. And there's some stuff that I thought I knew for sure.
Yeah.
And then without even them bringing it up, you're like, oh my gosh, there might be another level to this that I'm learning about. It's very suspenseful. Cool. The characters are great. That's something James Tynion is good at. Sacred Dam, this actually came out last week, but I picked this up. This is part of the Horizon experiment. And the pitch is kind of just, take, a genre, a character type, and give it to, and kind of explore with minority population that's not normally explored for. Like the first one is a spy thriller. The main character is Chinese. There aren't very many stories about, Chinese spies.
Yeah.
This one is pitched as a Muslim John Constantine. It's really good. If you can tell from the cover art, the cover is phenomenal. It's the same artist as your favorite book right now.
Frankenstein, right?
Frankenstein. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Walsh is very good, and the writer is the person who's writing Miss Marvel right now, and I think that she wrote the Miss Marvel. I mean, he wrote the Miss Marvel show too.
Okay.
So that's very interesting. I also picked up a horror anthology, Come Find Me from Distillery. You can tell just the art is great. There are a couple really good stories in here. I picked it up because like the main creator on this, Becky Cloonan, I've been missing a lot of her stuff since she left DC, and it's a good Halloween read.
Yeah.
And then also shout out to Zdarsky Comic News. I picked that up today, and as always, thank you to Oh Yeah Comics in downtown Muncie for for being a great comic shop where we can buy all of our stuff.
Meanwhile, Grant's reading Dracula, which I traded X-Men or X-Force 133 plus X-Men number 5 for, because Jonah gave this beautiful Dracula graphic novel to me, and like I would buy that off of you, and then I was kind of like I kind of put it to the back of my head, and then you were wanting my X-Force, and I'm like, wait, this is a trade that would like work out really well. But like the art, I mean, like I'm on a huge Dracula kick right now. I mean, I'm sitting in studio with, fangs and a cape right now, but like it looks, it's pretty beautiful. I mean, this follows, Bram's. I'm gonna call him Bram, like he's my homie. Bram's Dracula, and it does the character very well.
Yeah, I assume like the character writing is very good. That's James Tynion the Fourth, same writer as Nice House Nice House by the Sea, Nice House on the Lake.
Yeah.
And a lot of other stuff. I got this just because I was on the kick. I was reading like everything of his I could get my hand on. But
it's so good. It's so good. I love this book.
Yeah, but you've been reading, and we're kind of moving on to our main event now.
No, that's fine.
I like horror and spooky comics. You've been reading a lot of these Universal Monsters.
I have
over the past year.
Right? Yeah. Which I picked up Creature of the Black Lagoon over the summer, which I kind of dipped because at the end of the third issue, they made it sound like the creature was really just some scaly dude, and the woman was hallucinating. And after that, I'm like, I do not need to buy this comic book anymore because I want the Creature of the Black Lagoon to be real.
Yeah.
So I dropped that, but apparently Chrissy helps run the Oh Yeah Comics, and she told me that I should have probably picked up the fourth issue because it would have explained everything a lot more. So I'm kind of regretting. Maybe if I can find it in trade.
You can probably go to like some if you drive by a comic shop, you can probably like go in and see if they have it.
Yeah.
Or at like a Comic-Con, like see, hey, you guys have this.
Right.
Just go through dollar bins.
Yeah, but I'm also reading Frankenstein at the moment, which has been really interesting. Frankenstein did not come out this week, but I did get it revealed to me what the last body part is, because I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but the Frankenstein comic that I'm reading right now, every issue focuses on a different body part and how he acquired the body part. So the first was the head, the second was the heart, the third was the hands. I might have mixed them up a little bit. But the last issue is going to be about the eyes. So you and I were kind of tossing around theories of what the eyes might possibly be. So I love collecting these. I'm the huge horror buff, so it's been kind of a treat to be able to pick these up. I would love to see if Image and Universal decides to do anything else.
Is there like one of the Universal monsters that they haven't done yet that you really want to see?
Well, I don't know if they've done the Mummy yet. I appreciate you checking that for me. The Mummy would be neat. The Wolfman would be even cooler. I really don't think they've done the Wolfman. They might have done the Mummy, but I really don't think they've done the Wolfman. Because I've also been on a bit of a werewolf kick for a while. But seeing the Wolfman in some way, shape, or form would be cool. The Man Who Smiles, who actually was the inspiration for Joker.
Oh, yes. I've seen some of that.
Yeah, or like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
All of that, that sort of realm, because, I think the Universal Monsters, and we'll get to this on why I believe this, but the Universal Monsters are making this massive comeback, and I'm glad I kind of get to be so avant-garde about this because, it's, now it's like I like the Universal Monsters before they were cool.
Oh yeah.
And now they're gonna get all of this, popularity. I'm not gonna gatekeep. I'm not toxic like that, but despite how much I want to, but yeah, no, I'm loving it. I'm loving the Universal stuff. So
yeah.
Are we going into main event stuff now?
Yeah.
You
Well,
ready?
yeah.
Was that kind of like the perfect segue into our main event?
Yeah. I think we're kind of just talking horror comics.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that many horror movies, but my main foray into the horror genre has been horror comics.
Yeah.
And there's been over the past 10 years, there's been some phenomenal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like some genre-breaking stuff. That kind of just because you can't do a jump scare with horror, so you kind of have to build on that feeling of dread, which is like my favorite. That's like what my favorite horror movies are kind of do. And there's been some really great stuff. I know something we've both read is Witches.
Yes, I was hoping you would talk about this.
That's something that there should be a TV adaptation coming soon in the works. It's been announced.
I'm assuming HBO Max, right?
I think it might be Netflix. I could be wrong though.
I mean, that makes sense. I feel like Netflix would pick something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
I'm really excited for that. That and other Scott Snyder stuff. Canary, something that
you just lended me Canary, which is like a Western.
Yeah,
horror.
It's good, like a Western horror. There's like some some existential dread stuff with that, which is what I really like. Something that Scott Snyder, writer of Absolute Batman, Court of Owls, all that kind of stuff, does really good with his horror comics because he writes about stuff that he's afraid of.
Yeah.
Right. He's talked about this in interviews, and the way that he explores that with, like in Witches and Death of the Family, is afraid of like being a bad dad. And the way he explores that is very good. And also another thing I love a lot about horror comics is that you can explore different kind of art styles. Like, if you look at this Dracula book, there's stuff
Very
that
abstract.
you can never see in a Big Two comic, or I've only ever seen.
I mean, you can't even see this in a movie screen.
Yeah, you can do kind of stuff with visual elements, with like panel layouts that you can't see anywhere else. And like I've seen similar stuff in like I don't know, like Charles Soule Daredevil, but like it's never to the same degree. And you can also get some great serialized stuff. That's some great horror. Whether it's like something that's killing the children, a series that's been really popping off right now by James Tynion IV. Or you can do like some other crazy stuff. Like there's like Love Everlasting. By Tom King. That's kind of like a not traditional horror, kind of a play on like a romance comic, but like kind of dealing with in a horror aspect. And then Nice House on the Lake is my number one recommendation. That I'm gonna try to find you a copy of that. And then and then there's also some good spooky comics out there. Do you have any favorite just normal spooky comics?
Oh, I mean like these are my spooky comics. If we want to get into more of the
like your Marvel stuff.
I mean, I in terms of Marvel stuff, I love seeing the Werewolf by Night stuff. I mean, I've talked about it on the show before. I'm picking up this new run of Werewolf by Night. I also have this graphic novel of Werewolf by Night versus Moon Knight, which I just started reading last night. Rereading. I've already read it. But I mean, if we want to take the more creepier stuff, I mean, there's that the Joker comic that I can't get you on top of.
I'm just not interested.
I think Joker does fare well as a good horror.
The Brian. Well, that's what we're talking about. Death of the Family.
Yeah, Death of the Family also. Yes,
he works great as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Big Two comics too, there can be some great stuff. Whether it's one of my favorite comic issues of all time, Uncanny X-Men 195, where they're X-Men. They're in Manhattan, and Storm gets bitten by Dracula, and it's kind of them dealing with that. There's a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Or something that I've shared with you that I think gave you nightmare fuel before, from Justice League Dark, the James Tynion the Fourth Van V Justice League Dark run, where they have the Upside Down Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and there's some great stuff out there.
That was me quoted directly as nightmare fuel. But yeah, are you ready to dive into? So I am a huge Universal Studios buff. I will take Universal Studios over Disney now any day. Sorry, Marvel, but do better. No shade to Marvel Studios. It's just Disney, Disneyland, Disney World, all of them. They're not doing the theme parks right. Universal, on the other hand, they're doing things right. Today, actually, we got an official announcement, appropriately because it's Halloween, that the all-year-round horror maze site, I guess is what you want to call it, is going to be opening up in Las Vegas in 2025.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's going to feature Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Universal Monsters as a collective, The Exorcist Believer, which I actually was able to see a couple fall breaks back, and it was I guess it was last fall break. Yeah, last fall break I got to go see Exorcist Believer, which was by far one of the most scary houses that I've ever been to. I mean, little girls getting possessed by demons that's nightmare fuel.
Yeah,
scared the living daylights out of me. But also an original house called Scarecrow the Reaping, which I love. I love scarecrows as horror, so I think that's gonna be. I'm excited. I'm predicting it's probably gonna get like a October open date, and then after they do that, grand opening, they're just gonna keep that open year round. I would imagine this would be a rotating type attraction where we're not gonna keep Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Universal Monsters, Exorcist, stuff like that. We're not going to keep it in there for too long. I'm hoping by Christmas maybe they'll have, some Krampus or, Santa's Workshop gone wrong or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really interesting. In older news, we did get a trailer, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, for the Universal Studios Epic Universe. I didn't even know if you might not even know that this is a thing.
What that is.
So the Universal Studios in Orlando is expanding, and they're going to be including more of the Nintendo and How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, that's cool.
But they're also going to be doing a Ministry of Magic from Harry Potter. They're going to do a whole world around the Ministry of Magic. But lastly, they're doing one dedicated solely to the Universal Monsters. And they have the state-of-the-art animatronics. I think they might have it beat over Disney because these animatronics look so freaking lifelike. I have to pull this up for Jonah, and when I publish this video, I'll show it to you too. But these aren't pictures; those are the animatronics.
Huh?
They look like real people in makeup, and everyone, when this was first dropped, everyone was so confused because they thought that they were actual people. But it's gonna have the same technology as the Harry Potter world, like the Hogwarts ride, where you're kind of sitting on that bench and there's an arm that kind of takes you all around the castle, I guess.
Okay, yeah, like the 3D ride.
Yeah, so they're gonna rely less on the screens and more on the animatronics, which is completely different. But I am dying to get there because they're gonna have two rides. So one's gonna be Frankenstein's Castle. That's gonna be the one with more animatronics and stuff like that. But then they're gonna have a Wolfman ride where it kind of looks like I think it's like a spinny ride where you you're already on a track but you're also spinning too. It seems like some really good way to puke up your lunch. But we're also getting like a vampire tavern. There's going to be a place where you can monsterify yourself. So there's going to be like makeup artists who will turn you into a monster. So, a bunch of monsters can just be roaming all over the epic universe, I guess, as you could call it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a great time to be a Universal Monsters fan. And I need to get there as soon as possible.
Are you, if you do get to go, would you want to go to the Las Vegas thing first or the thing in Orlando?
See, so that's the thing is I just went last fall break to Universal Studios and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But if I wanted to go in October, per se. Like next October, I could knock out another year of Halloween Horror Nights and do the Epic Universe together, because they'll also have more houses, because they have less houses in the Las Vegas one. As of right now, they might announce more down the road. They might expand, but as of right now, it's just those 4. Yeah, there's just 4 houses in the Las Vegas location, whereas there's like up to 8 in the Orlando one. So I think if I go anywhere, I'd probably go back to Orlando, because it'll have more scare zones, haunted houses, but then also the Epic Universe, where I can fully embrace the dark side of, Universal Studios. Yeah. So with that said, we're going to do some debating.
All right.
I mean, debating is a loose term. I'm going to give you some creatures that are very popular from monster lore, and you're going to tell me
a good
matchup against, who they would be with. And I'm going to save one for last, because it's going to probably throw you off.
And to reference, I have not seen very many like classic horror movies, so I'm probably going to be like guessing like I don't know what the Creature of the Black Lagoon does. Like, my knowledge of Dracula is through X-Men comics.
Yeah.
I've never seen the original Dracula. I don't know a lot of these
believe
things,
it or not,
so we'll see.
I don't think any. Have you chosen your champions, kind of, or
I have some like in my brain, but it's gonna be adapted. It's gonna be improv.
I love the Universal monsters to death, but they only prey on people with no powers, and I think if most of them went up against people with powers, they'd get absolutely bodied.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, there are no Universal monsters on this list.
Okay.
So if that makes you feel any better, since I know you haven't seen any.
Well, I haven't seen like a lot of horror.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen most.
So first of all, I'm gonna give you the Xenomorph from the Alien.
Okay.
Franchise.
And I won't choose any like character who's already gone up against one. I think.
Right. Oh, because we have they have gone up against the Xenomorph recently, haven't they?
I do think I haven't read that whole series. I do think Wolverine against the Xenomorph. I know Wolverine against Predator is a
that's the thing.
Matchup.
Yeah.
I think Wolverine versus a Xenomorph would be interesting. This is like one of the only classic horror movies I've seen, because like Wolverine can't really die, right?
That's true.
Or like you can't die through like blunt force trauma or cuts or whatever. Or like he shouldn't be able to. Like he has an adamantium.
What about the
skin.
acid within the Xenomorph?
Yeah.
Do you think that could do damage, or do you think that would be completely?
I think
void.
It would, but it would. I do think it would make a great comic, or like a great like if they do because they're both owned by Disney now.
Yeah.
So like
make it happen, Disney.
It can't like there's no reason what. If you did like Alien, isn't there like?
Can you imagine Guardians of the Galaxy 4, but except they go up against the Xenomorph?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be great. I think Wolverine versus Xenomorph. Actually, no, never mind. Okay, so we've kind of already seen this, because in Marvel Comics there's something called the Brood, which was created right after Alien.
Yeah.
In which like I think it was like Dave Cockrum and Chris Claremont were like, we want to do that. And so they created aliens called the Brood that are very, very similar to the Xenomorphs from Alien. So we kind of already know. Okay, for instance, we know like Wolverine, like if he like gets like chest egged, then he like his body like treats that like a virus and he like gets it out.
Yeah.
So like you can't, and so normally like that's like the one thing you can't recover from an alien, right? But I do think that'd be an interesting fight. There are a few other, you can see him against, Cyclops. I don't know if there's been. Oh no, there hasn't.
I don't know.
Been
I think the Xenomorph would take on Cyclops.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I think that'd be a great scene where like Cyclops like gets bodied.
Yeah.
Because like he doesn't because like he
essentially gets fridged for Wolverine.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like his former lover.
Yeah.
All right. What's
okay?
The next one?
Now this one, I want you to give me someone who's actually really powerful. No Omega level mutants, but someone who's really freaking powerful. And I'm gonna say the name regardless. And I want to see if you think that they would die.
Do I? Okay, no Omega level mutants or Charles Xavier.
Or Charles Xavier.
Okay.
So who? who do you think is super strong that
Just
you
like
think I could
on
take
your
on?
own. Okay, so we're gonna go X characters. I think.
And try to make it something that, common viewers would also be able
Yeah,
to
yeah. I
know
think.
as well. I feel like we need the Jeopardy theme song. I mean, we've got a lot of quiet air.
Let's do no. Okay. Also, other thing. Oh, just no telepaths in general. Or telepaths.
Right. I mean, no. You.
Okay. You know what?
You can do what you want.
I have it. The Blob.
The Blob.
The Blob.
Okay. I think Freddy Krueger could take the Blob.
Oh shoot, it's Freddy Krueger. Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the thing with the Blob. I love the Blob. If you don't know who the Blob is, just look up a picture of the Blob, and that's the Blob. He's just like a big guy, and he can't be moved. He can be like slashed.
Yeah.
So I think I picked the worst character.
I think. Let's take a look at Freddy Krueger, because Freddy Krueger could probably take on
Juggernaut. What about Juggernaut though?
I mean, still, Juggernaut has to sleep, right?
He does.
Juggernaut
does have to sleep.
Like, let's be real. I think the only people that could actually properly take on Freddy Krueger is the Jean Grey, Charles Xavier, maybe Magneto.
Magneto can beat
even Wolverine.
anyone.
You could find Freddy Krueger is freaking creative.
I don't know about Wolverine. Okay.
All I'm saying is he doesn't just use knives. He has people swallowed into beds and,
Oh. Okay, yeah, never mind. That can beat Wolverine. What about Kitty Pryde though? She can she can be intangible. Oh, but that's kind of like cheating for horror monsters, isn't it?
I mean, I guess, but Freddy Krueger cheats, Kitty Pryde cheats, so that'd be an interesting.
I was gonna say, okay. All right.
If she starts phasing.
Yeah. Well, that's the.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your?
Pennywise, from It.
Oh, I don't know much, but I've never seen it. Once again, not seen it.
Demonic
Pennywise.
clown. In chapter 2, we saw him go into this full four-legged monstrosity where even if you look at him, you pretty much just die on the spot. Even if you look at him, you die. But you don't know it until you've looked at him.
I was gonna.
It's just like instant death. Like it is kind of cheating.
I was gonna cheat. I was gonna. See, I have two cheat characters. Right?
Okay, hit me.
One is Destiny.
I don't know.
Because like she can see the future and she's blind.
Okay, you know what? Destiny would be good. Destiny might be able to, stop Freddy Krueger.
So, like,
but how many people is she going to lose?
Well, she cares about like 3 people total.
That's not very X-Men material.
No,
you
she's
have to
like
care about everyone.
she's mostly a bat. She's not an X-Man.
Oh.
I mean, she's a mutant. She's
okay.
She's Raven Darkholm, Mystique's wife.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What was the other one that I said?
You just
Darwin. Darwin's the other one.
I don't even know who Darwin is.
His mutant power is that he can't die.
Oh.
See,
okay.
that was a cheap one. I was gonna say.
that is a cheap one.
I see, because like the way you describe it, like you look at them and you die. I don't know.
I wonder if he could make them float. I don't know.
I don't know, like, if there's an X-Men power that just counters that automatically, like besides just like the cheat ones like resurrecting man or like Darwin. Or
all
like
right, what about
X.
Predator? Who,
Predator.
Yeah, I'm trying to still give you people that you're at least somewhat familiar with.
I do think Gambit would be. I think a Gambit Predator. I think a Gambit Predator movie.
I can see him hiding in the
that's
trees.
a movie. Okay, that's a Gambit, because like Predator's like the Heat, right?
Put Predator in the Savage Land. You've got yourself a movie right there.
A Gambit movie in the bayou versus Predator.
Ooh.
Because he's from Louisiana. He's from the bayou. And it's hot there. And don't the Predators love the heat, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a movie. And you get like the Thieves the Thieves Guild. I'm sorry, Chris Claremont.
So you're gonna have the guild just killed off one by the Predator, and Gambit's like, ooh.
Yeah, or like well, not like all of them, but I think there's a good movie in there.
Yeah.
I think one day we're gonna get a Wolverine Predator movie.
You really think so?
I think that they're fools if they don't do that eventually, because people love Wolverine. People like if we have like 2 Alien Predator movies,
That's
right?
true. That's
and
true.
People love the.
And then finally, because this one is going to take the most longer, I am classifying this character as a horror because of a recent movie, but Scarlet Witch. Multiverse of Madness.
Okay, well, wait.
The woman who can literally bend reality to her will.
She already is a horror villain to the mutants. She's like
Right.
they're like, she's Scarlet Witch. She's.
Who could take Scarlet Witch?
There are a few, because like this is something that as an X-Men fan you kind of have to hate Scarlet Witch. There's Hope Summers. There's Jean Grey Summers.
So we're talking like Omega level.
Yeah, but you also brought in Scarlet Witch
That's true. That's true. Omega versus Omega. I get it.
Which there are a few characters. I do wonder what would happen to Darwin. Actually, no, because Darwin's not an Omega level mutant, so she could just like undo Darwin.
Just scatter Darwin to different parts of the universe.
No, well, okay. So here's the thing with mutant powers, right? Unless you're an Omega level mutant, like there's a limit to them, right? Mm-hmm. So the character Forge.
Yeah.
His power is that he can basically invent anything as long as he has like the materials.
Yeah.
But like within the text, like this is something like, because in House of X Powers of 10, Jonathan Hickman, something he does is he makes a lot of graphs. It's the same guy who wrote Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And he was kind of that's where a lot of that language comes from, because he was kind of explaining that, and like in one of like the graph information pages, he explained like some, like not all mutant powers are like universal, like no matter what, like period. Like the example uses like, well, Forge, like his mutant power is he can make anything. Like he's not like he's still like below inventor level. He's still not like he's described as not as good of an inventor as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how I feel about that, but I think that they kind of had to do. So there are like limits to mutant powers, and I think, with the exception of like the Omega, with the exception of like of Jean Grey and her family of non-Phoenix mutants, I'll say that, of non-Phoenix related mutants, there's really nothing you can do about Scarlet Witch. If she's like totally aware, right? Because there are sometimes like she's been killed before because she's just like not in it,
Yeah.
But yeah, she is a horror villain.
Yeah.
If you're an X-Men fan.
Yeah. I thought that little curveball at the end would kind of be a fun little surprise. See, you knew most of the people on that list though.
Yeah. I've never seen a Predator movie. I've never seen it.
Have you seen Nightmare on Elm Street?
I've never seen Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I said, I
gotta get you educated, man.
I know. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in with us, everybody.
I don't know what next week's gonna have.
Well, next week
you're gonna watch Venom.
Yeah,
right?
We're gonna do the spoiler review of Venom next week,
and we're gonna talk about Agatha.
Yes, we're gonna talk about the spoiler review of Agatha. We're gonna have the penultimate episode of the Penguin to talk about. We're gonna have previews for there's gonna be a couple. There might be another movie I see this weekend in terms of comics news.
Hopefully Grant gets more comics on. Grant
yeah,
didn't have
well,
anything
you're
going
to read Absolute Superman next week, because I'm going to make you. And then, X-Men, and X-Force, and X-Factor are all coming next week.
Okay.
And then there's Batgirl, and there's Birds of Prey. We're going to have that to talk about. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in with us, and happy Halloween.
Yeah. I'll see you guys around.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.